What's up everyone? Welcome to the YouTube channel, Skydown45, aka Skylar Domine. The whole reason I'm doing this YouTube channel is for you. I'm putting resources, money into this for helping others, paying it forward. I wish somebody did that to me more along my last years of being an entrepreneur, coming on almost a decade now. And there's a lot of things that our school system failed us, from building credit, loan, they're trying to keep you in that lower class. I'm not about that. I want you to be able to provide to your family. Everyone should have that chance, especially people who put forth the effort should receive that. So I'm gonna talk about various things, not just entrepreneur stuff, anything I got hit up about, like fitness stuff, whatever road I've crossed and I've found out how to maximize. I'm gonna take you on a shortcut so you don't have to make the same mistakes I've made that have cost me years, different things like that. I'm also gonna provide you guys a bunch of different resources. There are some shortcuts. It obviously depends on what your capital looks like. You have more capital, you're obviously going to be able to take more shortcuts. You're going to be able to hire that mentor, hire that coach, things like that. But I understand not everybody can do that. Leading into that, if anyone has any sort of things they want me to address or cover, just put that in the comments. If it's something I can't cover too, there's a dozen people in my network that can cover that. I'm going to be including a lot of other people, because if you don't resonate with me, my story, my struggle, what career paths and different lanes that I'm in, I have someone in my network that has capitalized on that and masters that. So one of the big things I want to talk about today, super relevant in my life, especially recently here over the last 6 to 12 months, is VETPAW organization. I'm just going to take you on a little story, how I got involved, as well as why I got involved and what that looks like in the future, the roadmap. Big piece to a lot of these organizations I'm part of is just education. That's why I got involved. These are issues I didn't know were happening. There's a lot of key things that resonate with me, from veterans, helping others, animals, love animals. I got involved with VETPAW in 2021. Good friends with Ryan, CEO, founder. He's had the organization running for the last 8 years. Pretty cool story, but he tells it better than I do. So I'm gonna tell my version of the story. When I found out what was going on over there, primarily in South Africa, but all throughout Africa, from the poaching, really causing a much bigger effect than just running the risk of losing these animals that are on the brink of extinction. Africa faces some serious problems right now. Their unemployment rate's at like 35%. And what happens is, if these animals keep disappearing at the rate they are, these are the last animals we get on this earth. So if they don't have the animals, they don't have the tourism, which is a big piece of funding Africa and a big reason why people visit Africa. That was a big aspect. Obviously, I love animals. And then also the veteran aspect. So they primarily only bring on veterans to take major roles, as we already have all the training that's required to protect the reserves, do missions, do ops, and it's just everything up my alley. And that was just what I knew prior to taking my first trip over there. So I made my first trip beginning of 22, and the animals, obviously seeing the animals is much different than being in a zoo. You're driving around out on the reserve, back of a truck, and you've got giraffes just coming out of nowhere, and rhinos and elephants, and the size of these things, like, it's just way different when you're up close to them and there's no fence there. But not once did I feel like I was endangered. I'm surrounded by my brothers who have either equally as much combat experience or more. And they do this stuff every day. They know how to track them. They're just very, very well knowledged on the conservation side now that they've been over there in country. VETPAW, since they've been, for example, just the black rhino, which again, facing the brink of extinction, and up until a few years ago, the numbers were constantly decreasing. They're finally now starting to increase. Under VETPAW's watch the last 8 years, not a single black rhino has been poached. That speaks in itself that it's working. Obviously, we're good at what we do. We take pride in it, and we've got the most elite military members from Special Forces, Marines, you name it, on the ground over there. So that's what we do naturally. We're trained to do that. It's much more than just going after the poachers themselves. So they're going all the way to the root of the problem, which the root of the problem is within these communities that are lacking education, as well as just the living conditions are rough. I mean, it's not uncommon for 5-year-olds to be hooked on drugs and alcohol just out of boredom. Their schools are getting broken into, food being stolen. When we hire the locals, they're obviously some of the hardest workers. They really take pride in their job. And on top of that, we pay them like 2 to 3x plus what they would make minimum wage going out and working in a farm field all day, and not really having that purpose either. When they're able to play soccer on their field and they have jerseys or equipment to play soccer with, that keeps not only the kids, but even the adults busy. It gives them something to do, builds that camaraderie, builds that community. That's a big piece that they're missing over there. It's been like over a decade since I've been to a third world country. Last one I was really in was Afghanistan. We're very entitled over here, and we lose focus on the real issues taking place in the world. You know, we got it made. We get shit sent to our doorstep, Postmates, food, groceries. Other countries don't even have groceries. You know, like they're lucky just to find food for the next meal. Shifting from your combat experience into civilian life, because in civilian life our skills just simply they don't really have a purpose unless you're going to be a police officer, work for the, you know, the feds, whatever. Even then, still, it's not the same. So when you can go out there and provide security and you have that purpose and you're out there with your brothers, it's just it's hard to explain, but you know, if you almost had to be in the military to understand that. But the repercussion of that, because the statistics on suicide, I've lost many of my brothers since I've been out. It's hard to function out here. You don't have the purpose, you know, going from being 21 years old in charge of 15, 20 Marines at any given time, $20 million plus in equipment at 21 years old. Tell me what other job you can do that in. I haven't had a purpose like that in a very long time. And another thing too, like, shame on me, I haven't been donating much of my time or resources to paying it forward to others. I used to be really good about it, donating my time to the ER, hospital, things like that, back in Wisconsin. And I just kind of lost sight of that, and I didn't realize how big that purpose was. I'm now an advisor on the board of two nonprofits, one being VETPAW, one being RFE, Recycle for Veterans, because those resonate with me. And I know where the funds are going, and I know the change that's, you know, being made with those funds, which I know some nonprofits get a lot of bad raps on the resources not going to what they say they're going for. And that's where VETPAW, like, I think Ryan would give his shirt off his back to save a rhino's life than he would himself. And everyone on the team really works under the same kind of clause. It's very expensive to operate over there. It's in another country, number one. So providing the staff, the food, the housing, and the vehicles. The vehicles take a beating. There's a lot of miles to cover, and they're unimproved roads. You're climbing up fucking mountains. Like, vehicles just take a rigorous beating. So, and then on top of that, the pandemic happened. So, you know, there was a 1 to 2 year shift where people couldn't even go over there and visit. We had trouble just keeping staff in the country, especially with visas expiring, all these different elements. So we're past that now. There's 1,000,001 things we have going on for VETPAW this year. Very excited about. We have a big event coming up here, May 14th, here in Scottsdale, Arizona. We also have an NFT project I've been putting together for them. A lot of key players on there. Everyone else who's on the team too, it's top tier people in the NFT community. So we're just very blessed. And Ryan's built that camaraderie and community. He's got so many people of extreme status, wealth, and to be honest, the organization doesn't grow without that. And everyone who is taking a trip over there ends up doubling down or tenfolding because they see what's happening. They see where their funds are going. I'm gonna be taking a lot more trips out there this year. If anyone has any questions or anything, I'm more than prone to help answer those of how you can get involved, whether you're a veteran. You don't have to be a veteran to get involved either. You have a lot of opportunity, a lot of different jobs that are needed. Otherwise, the other big key role is, again, donors. We need donors, we need sponsors. Without those funds, we can't keep the mission going, can't keep it funded. And that's pretty much it. So tune in for the next episode.